This is ABC 7 News at 6.
And I'm Beth Jones. First tonight, the Lewiston community is coming together to mourn and pay tribute to those who lost their lives.
Our Corey Bouchard met with community members as they pay their respects and begin the healing process.
Behind me is one of the many places that have been set up for the people of Lewiston and surrounding communities to come and pay their respects for the victims of those lost on Wednesday night's mass shooting.
You know, I grew up in Auburn, and, you know, I would be devastated one way or the other. This is a very small community. I knew that we would know people who were lost, and we would know someone that lost somebody. We didn't realize that it would be as close to home as it was.
Oh, it's hard, unfortunately. Just keep positive. Keep your surroundings close. It's hard, honestly.
You're in the midst of, you're still processing. The real fight doesn't start until we say our final goodbyes.
All three agree that despite this tragedy, Lewiston and its surrounding communities will come together and continue to heal from this trauma.
We're just really strong. We just push it together. We're a small, big community. We just live life how it is, and hopefully we become bigger and better.
Just continue to love on these families, on the community, because it impacts all. And just be with them and make sure that these resources are available, not next week, not next year, because there's no time limit on our trauma and grief.
I think, you know, we continue to support each other, come together. We've always considered ourselves, we're Mainers, we're strong, and this affects everybody, you know, very deeply.
There are a number of different people and organizations that travel around from tragedy to tragedy, helping to provide support to those impacted. On a future broadcast, we'll hear from a few of them. In Lewiston, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And in the immediate aftermath of last week's shootings, conversations are starting to focus on what, if anything, could have been done differently and what needs to happen next to keep Mainers safe. One of the many areas of discussion is Maine's yellow flag law. Our Doug Banks spoke with lawmakers to understand how that law operates.
What that action will be must be the product of a broad discussion among a diverse group of voices. The people of Maine deserve this discussion.
Maine's yellow flag law, passed only a few years ago, is one of the many things fueling conversation following the horrific mass shootings in Lewiston. Maine's yellow flag law, or Act to Prevent Sustainable Threats, starts with a call taken by law enforcement and could take away an individual's firearm after a court proceeding. The individual's name then goes into a database.
We have no procedure in Maine for actively having those people surrender their firearms.
Just 4 years ago, Representative Billy Bob Fockingham voted no on the law passing, stating he was erring on the side of protecting citizens' constitutional rights.
If this bill were to pass, it would have unintended consequences. It would cost the lives of veterans.
Though the law ultimately passed, today, Fockingham reflected on his no vote.
Looking at it in hindsight, that definitely was a law that did strengthen law enforcement's ability to take weapons from dangerous people.
Lawmakers and government officials will continue to debate on what could have or should have been done to prevent this tragedy, including whether Maine's yellow flag law does enough.
We have a shared responsibility going forward to do everything we can to make sure this doesn't happen.
It's too early to point fingers, but at some point we're going to have to figure out why this individual did not have their firearms taken from them.
In Bangor, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
As schools in central Maine began to reopen today, a social media threat closed all of MSAD 49 schools as well as others in the Fairfield area. Our Grace Blanchard has details.
Schools in the Fairfield area remained closed on Monday after one of MSAD 49 schools was the target of a social media threat.
I think anytime there's any concerning comment made, especially towards a school district or that involves a school district, we're going to take that seriously and we are going to thoroughly investigate it.
According to Officer Dugas, the threat was made through a Facebook post on Sunday. though the Fairfield Police Department is not releasing which school page the threat was made to or the contents of the threat.
We don't believe there's any imminent threat to the school district, but we did ask for that extra time so we can thoroughly investigate the comment.
A message went out to parents about the closure Sunday evening, leaving many feeling anxious and frustrated.
It's very nerve-wracking to think about sending the children back. But with everything getting a lot harder and scarier in this world, we deserve to know how they're going to protect our children better.
The superintendent issued a statement to the community saying school will resume on Tuesday with an increased law enforcement presence. In the statement, she said, quote, "Please know that our efforts are dedicated to the physical safety and emotional well-being of our students. Every child and truly every person deserves to feel safe at school."
Obviously, everybody's concerns are more heightened right now. We're working with several partner law enforcement agencies going forward with the investigation.
In Fairfield, Grace Blanchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And now let's go ahead and get a first check of our forecast.
Thank you so much. Hopefully, folks, we're not surprised with all the snow back in the forecast. Yeah, snow is back, mainly up north, though. Greenville area, of course, mainly north of Dover, Foxcroft. That's where those cumulative snowfall really piled up. Some spots receiving even several inches of snowfall. Official snowfall totals not in just yet. Visibility-wise, though, still a little bit low here in town. Up north, Millinocket area. But look at this. In the western part of the state, still some really moderate snow, I should say. Not heavy, moderate snow, really reducing visibility, where some places have near 1 mile visibility. Wind speed wise, though, we are at a solid 5 to 10 mile per hour breeze. Machias, a little bit stronger, right by the coast right here. We do have a little stronger winds, still nothing too bad. Temperatures earlier today, we had a high temperature 41. Lows were in those mid-30s earlier today here in town, but look up north, high temperatures only in those mid-30s. So of course, that snow was falling, and it is still falling all over the region. Later on overnight, we are going to continue to cool off, where temperatures will be hovering in those low 30s.
Coming up on ABC 7 News at 6, we continue our stakeholder discussions surrounding ballot question 3.
We'll hear from the chairman of the Public Utilities Commission, which currently oversees the state's utilities and would also oversee a new one. Stay with us.
When outdoors, some people like it hot and some people like it cold. However, when indoors, most people like it comfortably warm. Choose a Boderas boiler from McCusick Petroleum Company to provide you with comfortable and efficient heat. They also offer sales and service on many brands of furnaces, boilers, and water heaters. McCusick Petroleum Company delivers oil and LP gas to homes and businesses throughout the Pequot region. If you'd like more information on pricing or service, call or stop by our office in Dover, Foxcroft.
Does your dream kitchen look like this? Or this? Or maybe you need a little more inspiration? Get it when you explore the complete in-store showroom displays at Hammond Lumber Company. When you find the look you like, the Hammond team will help you customize it, including accurate 3D renderings, so you can visualize your project before the work begins. Hammond offers delivery from any of the locations across Maine and New Hampshire, and professional service after the sale. Your dream kitchen begins when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
At Living Innovations, we build community. You can be a part of it. We put supporting people first, and that builds a caring community within our workforce and for the people we serve. Living Innovations supports people with disabilities and has flexible work opportunities available. You could become a shared living provider and work from home, or help support people to be active in the community. To learn more, visit livinginnovations.com and check out our employment and home provider opportunities. Become a part of Living Innovations and be part of a community with a purpose.
Question 3 is too costly and too risky.
It's a $13.5 billion gamble that puts politicians in charge.
It will increase our electric bills.
We can't afford higher electric bills. And the politicians, they're not even required to have an operations plan when they take over. No plan to keep the lights on?
Not even for emergencies or power outages.
That's a bad idea.
Mainers can't afford this costly proposal.
I'm voting no on 3. It's a risk we can't afford.
This Veterans Day, join Fox ABC Maine as we salute and honor our veterans. Are you an active, inactive, or retired member of the armed services? Do you know someone who is? Then upload your photos on foxbangor.com/Maine Heroes. We will randomly select multiple veterans to win a gift voucher from Chick-fil-A. Locally sponsored by Chase's Family Restaurant, Gas Horse Supply and Western Wear, Herman Meadow Golf Club, and Leo & Sons Auto Repair. You are watching WVII ABC 7 Bangor, Lewiston Strong.
After hearing from those who want voters to say yes or no on question 3, which asks Maine voters if they want to replace Maine's current investor-owned utilities, we now hear from the Public Utilities Commission, who oversees CMP and Versant now and would also be charged with overseeing a new utility as well. So Chairman Bartlett, thank you for joining us. We have a lot to get to, so let's just dive right in. And first things first, I did read your testimony, and one thing that's clear is that you feel there is a lot of uncertainty with this proposal, good or bad.
Absolutely. I think there are a lot of unknowns, and I think there are, we don't know, for example, what the sale price is going to be, which is going to significantly determine how long it will be before ratepayers see a benefit. We also don't know who the operating firm is going to be, what that structure will look like. And there's just a significant amount of time between now and the takeover where we're going to be in this state of limbo, and I think that creates a certain amount of uncertainty when it comes to the kinds of investments and maintenance of the system that's going to be required. And when you say operator, that is the entity that is hired by the board to actually undertake the operations of the company, of Pine Tree Power, as it were. That's right. I think the way to think about this is currently the investor-owned utilities make a profit on the capital investments they make. So think of the poles and the wires and the transformers. Under this new system, the board will hire an operator. That operator is likely to be, though it doesn't have to be, but it's likely to be a for-profit company. And so now the profits move to the operating side. So the management decisions that the company will be making may be a little more centered towards the operating side than the current utilities, which tend to spend more on poles and wires and things because that's where they make money. Does that give the PUC pause at all? Well, I think how you regulate it, the entity will change a little bit. Right now, we carefully scrutinize for the capital investments that the utility wants to make sure they're not gold plating, over-investing in the infrastructure. If you're dealing with a for-profit management company, you're certainly going to want to make sure that they have good incentives to provide service, and you're going to make sure that they are making the proper balance between the capital investments and operating solutions to problems that arise. And as it's written, the PUC would actually oversee the selection of that operator, correct? Yeah, we would review the contract that the board would prepare. And what would you be looking for in a contract and an entity that the PUC would feel comfortable putting in charge of those crucial operations? Well, I mean, first and foremost, we're going to look to the statutory language and make sure that the operator is complying with, the contract complies with the requirements of the statute. We certainly would give considerable weight to the board preference. This is an elected board that would have selected this operator, so there's a certain amount of deference that will be given. And we're going to look to make sure that ratepayers are protected, that there's a right balancing of sort of the risks and the profit potential for that company so that ratepayers aren't taking an unreasonable risk when that contract is signed. It seems that the time frame is an issue with the creation of this company. Litigation is very, very possible in terms of the two utility parent companies not agreeing to a sale price and now entering into litigation to move the process forward. And so with all those delays and litigation costs, I mean, how soon are ratepayers really going to see a break, if at all? So we did, the legislature had us do an analysis of a prior proposal. It's not the specific proposal, but a prior proposal to create a consumer-owned utility. Yeah. And what that found is that in the early years, you're likely to see higher costs than you otherwise would because of the acquisition costs and the transition period. But then over time, in the future, you'll start to see savings. I think it's important to understand that because of the timeframes in the statute and the likely litigation, you're looking at somewhere between 5 and 10 years years probably after Election Day before you'd actually see a takeover for the new entity. And then there'd be some period of time after that where you're sort of paying down that initial debt before you start to see savings in the future.
So there's quite an expanse before consumers would sort of see a benefit.
It's a trade, yeah, it's a real trade-off between sort of the short term and then the long term. Over the long term, there could be very substantial savings as the entity makes significant capital investments. But in the short to medium term, I think there's a lot of uncertainty as to how much costs could potentially go up as a result of making this acquisition.
And so in closing, it's really just a matter of what are voters comfortable with, what sacrifices are they willing to make, and what's important to them.
I agree. It's important to understand that there are risks either way, either keeping with our current system or going to a new one. And there's real trade-offs between the short and the longer term that I think people should be taking into account.
All right. Well, we thank you so much for your time and your insight here.
Glad to be here.
All right, and there's more to come after the break, including sports.
Stay with us.
Finding the right vehicle for you and your family can be a daunting task. At Varney Buick GMC, our expert staff is here to make the journey as painless as possible. Our goal is to get you and your family in a vehicle that will best fit into your lifestyle. Communication is key, and our team makes sure to be completely transparent throughout the process, informing you on all of your options. Come experience Varney value, only at Varney Buick GMC.
Gun Sports and Brewer knows that for fun, exercise, and meeting new friends, nothing is better than ice skating. Whether it's sailing down the ice, making a great pass, and scoring in a game of hockey, or the grace, strength, and expression of figure skating. From the youngest child all the way to adulthood, anyone can enjoy the fun of skating. At Gun Sports, we supply the equipment for your skating fun for great prices, the proper fit, and service after the sale. Shop your locally owned Gun Sports Shop, Greenpoint Road in Brewer.
If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos-related lung cancer, contact the law offices of Joe Bornstein to learn about your legal rights. Maine has the highest rate of mesothelioma fatalities in the U.S. You may be eligible to receive compensation if you were exposed to asbestos products while working in a shipyard, mill, factory, or construction site. For a free case evaluation, dial 207-CALL-JOE or online at joebornstein.com.
With AAA Insurance, by bundling our home and auto policies, we saved over $450.
And we were shocked at the savings.
When we switched to AAA auto insurance and bundled our policies, we were able to save over $400 every year.
Switch to AAA insurance today, and you could save an average of $483 on auto insurance. Compare that to State Farm, Geico, even Allstate. Call now for your free AAA full picture quote to find out how much you could save.
Well, my passion is hang gliding. I've been doing it for over 30 years, and it's like flying. I mean, it's like everything you always dreamed about. AAA insurance helps us save more.
And do more.
The savings from AAA Insurance has allowed me to pursue my passion of making jewelry. It's great to have a little bit of extra cash to do something that you love.
To find out how much you could save by switching to AAA insurance, call 866-460-1310 for your free AAA full picture quote today. You'll be glad you did.
Tonight's Sports is brought to you by Healing Hands Massage in Hamden, providing professional massage services tailored specifically for their clients. Stop by Healing Hands Massage today. You'll thank yourself later.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. We'll begin tonight with the big news out of the Maine basketball world. Cooper Flagg announcing his highly anticipated college decision this morning. It looks like Duke University has captured the flag. It was first reported by Slam Magazine this morning in a post on Twitter and Instagram. Cooper, who reclassified this summer to the class of 2024, will be heading to Durham next fall to suit up with the Blue Devils. Slam is also selling a cover tee of Cooper, with part of those proceeds benefiting the Lewiston-Auburn Response Fund. His decision came down to Duke and UConn, and in the video posted online, he says his decision wasn't an easy one at all, but ultimately the atmosphere on campus and in Cameron Indoor Stadium won him over. And he'll be back home in Maine soon, too. Cooper and Ace's current team, Montverde Academy, will be playing South Shore on January 5th at the Cross Insurance Arena, and then CATS Academy on January 6th at the Expo. Certainly looking forward to those games, and a big congratulations to Cooper. Let's move on now to the Patriots. The news went from bad to worse for New England on Monday morning after their 31-17 loss to Miami on Sunday. In the fourth quarter, Kendrick Bourne left with a knee injury after catching this pass right here from Mac Jones. And it was announced this morning per Mike Garofalo from NFL Network that Bourne has torn his ACL ligament and is out for the season. Patriots, who were already short at wide receiver, also lost Devontae Parker to the concussion protocol on Sunday. So now with the trade deadline coming up tomorrow and New England sitting at 2-6 on the year, Bill Belichick was asked about his message to the team and about possibly getting a head start on next year. But the answer, nothing unexpected from him.
What are you thinking heading into the trade deadline tomorrow, balancing what you currently have with getting a head start maybe on next year?
Yeah, I mean, we just got back from Miami late last night, and so working through the game, deal with that here over whatever period of time there is. I don't know.
Whatever. I don't know. That's what he says. Let's stay with some football now. Maine football falling to 2-7 on the year on Saturday after losing 37-21 to the University of Albany. In that game, Derek Robertson finished with 220 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's his 4th time in the last 5 games throwing for 3 scores. Maine scored on that first drive of the game, but Albany responded with 17 unanswered points. 3 turnovers didn't help the Black Bears either. With 2 games left on the schedule, Maine looks ahead to Hampton University on Saturday for their last home game of the year, before then taking to New Hampshire for the battle for the Bryce Cowell Musket. But right now, their focus is on stopping that tough Hampton run game.
In Hampton, I mean, this is a team that's leading the conference in rushing. Strong rushing attack on offense. I think they have three guys with over 80 carries on the season. So, this will be a very tough physical football game, and Coach Pruddy does a great job, and we're looking for a really competitive CAA game here in November in Orono.
All right, looking forward for that one. 12:30 kickoff on Saturday. It's all the time we have for sports right now. Here's Conrad Sapinski with your full 5-day forecast. Conrad?
All right, my friends, the current snow depth meter is back. I know, we're turning the page pretty much towards winter. Not really any snow here in town. This was mainly a rain event. A couple of snowflakes, some sleet was mixing in. Most of the snow was just up north. Got to go a little bit north of Dover, Foxcroft to really get into that accumulative snowfall. In and around town, same story, but you got to go up north to tap into some snow. Down south, though, of course, some rain. New York City, no surprises here. Big Apple getting in on some showers down there. Temperatures are actually really warm still down south, but as that cold front comes by, everybody will be cooling off. Had some pretty moderate snow early this morning as well, but now things are slowly calming down. Still have some snow showers up north, Greenville area getting in on some snow showers. Here in town, this is all rain showers, very light rain showers falling in the region. Temperature wise though, wow, look at this. Temperatures really cooled off all over the country, but not the east just yet. Atlanta, Georgia, with the Weather Channel, we're talking mid-80s outside, but just up north, Nashville, we are in those mid-40s. So sharp cold front is on the way, and it will be cooling down the whole United States. Lows earlier this morning were in the mid-30s, not quite at that freezing mark. That's why this was mostly a rain event here in town, but just up north, Millinocket, Greenville area, they were tapping into some upper 20s. So a lot of the snow was actually sticking around. Future temps are showing us actually cooling down slightly below freezing, hovering in those lower 30s by the morning hours tomorrow. So get ready, folks. It might be a little bit slick, but most of this rain will evaporate by then. High temperatures, like I mentioned, we're at around 41 degrees. Same story by Bar Harbor, Rockland, a little bit warmer. Up north, though, mid-30s. Of course, with that moderate snow falling, it kept things a little bit cooler. High temperature is around 53 degrees. We're going to be well below that right through Thursday into Friday. Now we're going to be near average. Saturday into Sunday, we're actually going to be above average. So warmer temperatures are just around the corner. Don't you worry about that there. Tonight, though, different story. We're going to be in those lower 30s. Rain and snow showers early. This is mostly going to be a rain event on the back end. Some snowflakes will be mixing in. We're not looking at any accumulations At most, maybe a trace on some grassy surfaces. Decreasing clouds later on, though, with a light breeze. For tomorrow, though, much nicer. We're going to see more clouds in the morning, but overall, though, mostly sunny skies and some breezy conditions. Temperatures, though, will be in those low to mid 40s. Our extended weather forecast does show pretty good looking weather forecast for Tuesday for Halloween. And then by Wednesday, Thursday into Friday, we are going to be warming back up to those low to mid 50s.
All righty, Conrad, thank you so much.
And there's still more to come after the break. Stay with us.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the sparks that unite us, to the passions that drive us. We're driven by the things we love. From the visions that lead us, the feelings that inspire us, to the roads that bring us together. Coastal Auto Parts, 29 locations in Maine, will get you to the moments that matter most. With the largest network of parts and care to keep you firing on all cylinders. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
Jamar Construction Products in Bangor continues to grow to meet our customers' needs, supplying products for site work contractors, concrete contractors, and survey and safety supplies. We are proud to be the local dealer for Hilti, Valley Blades, U.S. Fabrics, and Euclid Chemical, plus so much more. Stop by and see us at 1270 Hammond Street or give us a call at 907-4491. If you dig it, pour it, plow it, fasten it, lay it, or lift it, Jamar Construction Products can help you.
The big automakers want a monopoly on your car repairs. That's why they're starting to restrict access to your car's mechanical data. But voting yes on question 4, right to repair, will stop them. Hundreds of local independent repair shops across Maine urge yes on 4, because yes on 4 will protect consumer choice and save thousands of Maine jobs.
It's your car. It should be your choice where to fix it.
Vote yes on question 4. Yes on right to repair.
This Veterans Day, join Fox ABC Maine as we salute and honor our veterans. Are you an active, inactive, or retired member of the armed services? Do you know someone who is? Then upload your photos on foxbangor.com/Maine Heroes. We will randomly select multiple veterans to win a gift voucher from Chick-fil-A. Locally sponsored by Bangor Tire Company, Disconnected Tattoo and Art Company, Marilyn Monroe Spas, and Ray Plumbing and Heating.
Every night is pizza night at Dragonfire Pizza. From wings, salads, and sides to our specialty wood-fired pizzas. You'll find everything you need to satisfy any craving by the slice or by the pie. A little slice of heaven is waiting for you at Dragonfire Pizza, Mill Mall, Ellsworth.
This week, the Maine massacre, how the communities are coping, plus the hostages in the hands of Hamas, where negotiations stand as the war rages on. More Americans turn to the most watched newscast on television. World News Tonight with David Muir.
Welcome back. The Southwest Harbor Public Library is hosting a book trick-or-treat for kids of all ages. The event got underway at 4 p.m. this afternoon. Those who showed up to the library in costume got to select a brand new book to take home with them in their trick-or-treat bag. The books were all paid for through a grant. This year, the library is giving away board books, books for new readers, as well as young adult books for the preteen and teenage trick-or-treaters.
But yeah, it's really great to see all the kids in here wearing their costumes, picking through the books. I think it's a really fun idea for them.
Participate by stopping by the Southwest Harbor Public Library on Halloween between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m.
And finally tonight, Old Dogs New Digs is a nonprofit in Maine, Colorado, and New Mexico dedicated to finding homes for senior cats and dogs so their final months or years aren't spent in a shelter. Our Jody Hersey has more.
You are such a good dog. Yeah? I am so spoiled with you, bud.
Katie Small of Ellsworth is a case manager for Old Dogs New Digs, an all-volunteer nonprofit dedicated to finding short-term, long-term, and foster homes for senior cats and dogs. She's also fostering Micah, a 12-year-old all-black male German Shepherd.
Because the seniors, they spend a lot more time in the shelters, and it takes longer for them to be adopted, and it's harder on them being there. So giving them the opportunity to, like in his case, lay on a couch all day instead of in his kennel, it's great.
Small says Old Dog New Digs works with shelters from Calais to Portland, and the nonprofit, like many others in Maine, could use more volunteers.
Then we also have folks who help us out with things like driving, so transporting dogs either between fosters and shelters or to vet appointments.
Loris Young of Herman has been fostering senior dogs for years.
I cook for all of them. They don't get any commercial dog food or.
Young admits caring for a senior dog might not work for certain families, but her household is fortunate enough to dote on these loving companions in their final days.
I think the first thing people think of is, well, we won't have them very long. And that's true, you might. But that dog will have, the end of that dog's life will be filled with love.
Katie Small could not agree more.
There's something so rewarding about getting to spoil a dog through those last few weeks, months. You really see the joy in their face, and it's worth every second, even if it's short.
In Ellsworth, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Wow. Just absolutely.
The seniors just get to me.
They really do.
They really do.
You can tell just how happy they are to have that companionship too.
And they, if they could have months, they could have a few years.
Right.
Isn't it worth it that what they take with them is having known a loving home for whatever time they had left? Because that's what they'll take with them.
Seriously is.
Yeah.
A great organization there.
Alrighty, well, that is going to do it for us, folks. From everyone here at ABC 7, take care and have a great night.
Good night, everyone, and we leave you with these images from Sugarloaf. Take a look tonight.